if I sent the invites or not, or if I brought you guys straight in. Um, yeah, I'm trying to figure that crap out yet. Yeah, I mean, I'm still relatively new to this whole idea here. Yeah, this is mainly if I just want to show the general idea of the game.
There we go.
Alright. So it should let you guys straight in then. Okay,
Yep,
good.
I got you. I can
Alright.
watch you.
Alrighty. So are you guys seeing basically what's on screen there currently?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, yeah, that's
Steam
basically
go full
yeah,
screen.
yeah, this is basically your character select screen kind of thing. And basically the
Mm-hmm.
one I have up there currently is my Titan, and basically one of the three of the hunters, basically what that is for the most part. And that's the warlock. Basically the different classes more so like the Titan's more so the front lines, getting an enemy's face and smash them kind of thing. Hunters.
Mm-hmm. If you
What do you
don't,
mean?
Russ, we're just watching his screen. He
Yeah,
has to hit X.
yeah, yeah. But
Jeez, Russ.
yeah. But basically, the hunters more so like support and basically support at a distance kind of thing, more so than a frontline unit. But the warlock kind of bridges the gap between support from a distance and frontline kind of thing. But
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, the Titan's the first one I started with because it kind of fits my playstyle the most. But I figured it kind of
Hmm.
helped me understand different tactics when I started working with the other characters. Like, I mean, originally I just got one of each character so I could get the trophies associated with each one, and then I started working more with them. That's basically Orbit here. That's where you basically go wherever from there.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is inventory screen too. I mean, as I'm sure it's pretty evident, I've been working on this,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the idea there, and yeah, that's my current class, but they basically have a solar class, as they call it, what the heck is it, the arc class here, and void, basically, they have all sorts of different things here. See, and that's
Hmm.
triumphs and whatnot. But anyway, enough yapping, let's get to shooting shit and blowing shit up, right? Let's see here, though. I'm gonna see if I have any bounties I need to complete here, but I'm pretty sure I have a lot of them. Shit, I don't know. I'm actually thinking of jumping into a PvE kind of thing. It's called Gambit. Yeah, I think I should probably try to finish that one. Which means I'm gonna have to equip my hand cannon for that then. Okay, it's already there. Good, the sunshot there. What else do we have here? Yeah, I'm gonna have at least, one automatic weapon on me, but yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, so, huh? Wait, what's up? Oh, great. Adam, is it showing that same thing on your end? Alright, well, let's see here. Crap, if I can figure out what the heck's going on here. It might be. I know when I go into the share menu, it kind of cuts it off, but, then, let's see here. So, there it says it's back on air now, so I don't know what specifically that means for the most part, other than it's supposed to be broadcasting, I guess. But still nothing on your guys' end, though?
Mm-mm.
Wait a minute, that might be because I'm in the selection area. Let me see if I can start into a matchmaking on this game mode, and we'll see if that fixes the problem.
It should.
Yeah, I mean, because I forgot that there are some areas that'll restrict that. Alright, yeah, let me know if you guys got anything there. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna send the invites again just to be sure. Yeah, here we go. Alright.
There you go.
Yep, so, yep, we're gonna be jumping into basically a competitive co-op thing here called Gambit. It's interesting, though. Because usually what they call the Crucible is strict player versus player kind of thing. Which, they have elements of that in Gambit, but they also have, basically, automatic, like, computer controlled enemies too.
Mm-hmm.
So, it gets pretty quick and pretty vicious pretty damn quick, I know that. you know. But sometimes annoying part is that it's usually a 4v4 kind of thing, and sometimes you can be sitting here a while waiting for this,
Mm-hmm.
This is actually a pretty short one this time around to get that going. That's actually pretty surprising to me. Let's see here, so now we're taking off here. This part usually pretty much drags out a little bit, so yeah, that's basically the ship that I use there, but yeah. I don't know, it's interesting though. They have a lot of different things to this though. But yeah. Plus, and they have far more, as I'm sure you know, for an arsenal available than what I have set up, So basically I've got a hand cannon as my secondary weapon. I've got an auto rifle as my primary, and I've got a sword as my heavy weapon. Yeah, that's basically my go-to weapon. But yeah, either auto rifles or submachine guns are usually my go-to if I don't have sword ammo available or whatever. I never really understood the idea of, having an ammo meter on a sword though on here. That's one thing I'm thinking, like, okay, a stamina meter, sure, but, like a literal ammo counter for a sword, I didn't get that. That was just weird to me. Well, yeah,
Ross, are you hearing Tom twice? Yeah, it's so weird. Tom, every time you speak, it's weird. I feel like we're still in the other thing, and we can hear that too, and it's like on a delay. So we're hearing like everything that you're saying like twice, but on.
Let's see here. I'm looking at the. Yeah, I just pulled up the screen for the party chat there. Let's see here. I don't know. Here, let me back out of that. Is that going to doubles again now? Well,
all right. Let's see what we've got. Hi, bring a sword.
All right. We always have a sword.
Let's be bad guys. Hive claws make great can openers, and you can wear the chitin in Sub-Zero tech. Get ready for transmat.
All right, let's
Shield
do
the
this.
hostiles. Grab the moats, drop them in the bank.
Right over there, okay.
Hostiles incoming in command.
Alright. Where are these guys at? There we go. Yeah, see, this is about how vicious that gets, You can literally get killed that quick. Hey, there we go, good. Switch to that. Come here, you. Sure. There we go. Yeah, you see how quick this goes, and a lot of things can happen very, very quickly here. It's extremely, extremely fast-paced, in my opinion. Like, this is absolutely mild compared to how quick things can usually happen.
Hostiles incoming at the burrow.
Great. God, that reload speed kills me for this thing. Alrighty, let's get to it here.
High value target identified. Get him.
I'm thinking it's more so like the more common, thing I'm hearing is like Call of Duty and, Call of Duty Halo kind of mix. I couldn't get to cover in time. At least I'm paired with a halfway decent team this time, in my opinion, though. Normally you just got people that'll do their own shit and just run God only knows where for God only knows what reason. But I actually got a lucky one and actually got a halfway decent team this time. more my speed here. This is more my thing here. There we go. I don't have any boats to bank, so yeah. Basically, from what I gather, it doesn't cost anything to broadcast. It's more so like a technical pain in the ass, in my opinion, like what we were dealing with towards the beginning of this. Oh great, we got an invader in here. Yep, that's what that alarm meant, is we've got an enemy player invading. So in other words, they basically invaded our side, and I'm thinking, ah, crap. So, you know, and when you hear that alarm, you want to keep an eye out for an enemy player. See, like right there. That's the indicator right there. There we go.
Hey, you didn't start that fight.
Got him.
You finished.
That's about it. There we go. See, that's why I'm always pulling my sword when I have a chance like that. Because usually, it's not always a one-hit kill like that, but, you know, sometimes it is. Sometimes it takes a couple swings. It really depends on, like, you know, the capabilities of whatever the enemy is that you're swinging at. You know, with that upward swing I used there is usually my best chance for a one-shot kill kind of thing.
Incoming hostiles at the rig.
Where? Okay. Yeah, this is literally like you've got to be, you know, like watching everything you possibly can. See what I mean? That's usually what happens there, if not. See? That's usually what happens there. They are literally whomping the shit out of us here, though. Okay, they got him. Good. Oh, shit, that's friendly there. Yeah, that shit'll happen every once in a while too if you're a little too quick on the trigger. You know, thankfully there's no such thing as friendly fire in this, as far as I know. So that kind of helps if you have something like that happen where you mistake an enemy for him. You know, or mistake a friend for an enemy or whatever.
Taken on the other side.
The invader got me there.
I am. Portal's up. Go look him in the eyes.
Yeah, that portal means we can invade them when it's up. Shit, he got at least all of us once by the look of that. This guy's got to know what he's doing, I guess, if he was able to attack all of us like that. Just get out of here. That's why, I mean, I rely on that heavy weapon far more than I'm sure I should. I really shouldn't be relying on, yeah, you see what I mean? Yeah, and then I kind of get nervous when I don't have ammo for it anymore. That tells me I'm relying on it far, far too heavily. We'll keep it going, though.
Hostiles incoming at the burrow.
God, they're smashing the shit out of us here. Like that blue and red bar up top, though. That's basically how you can tell, like, more or less who's winning, I guess you could say. You know, I don't know if that's really the proper term for it, but hey, whatever. You know what? Screw this. I'm gonna go invade the enemy team.
You're invading. Make a mess.
Gonna get them back a little bit if we can here. There we go. That's the thing, though. Is it?
Come back with a bigger gun.
It depends. I mean, honestly, it's not too bad on pricing anymore, from what I hear. Like when I picked it up, I dropped $100, but that was like literally the first week that it released, and that was the highest tier edition that they had available.
Portal's prime.
You know, So
Go make a minute.
yeah, that's why that costs that much. I think when it first released, they had like the basic, and then they had the what the heck was it? The annual pass and the game, basically. The one I picked up was what they called the Digital Deluxe Collector's Edition. That was $100, but it had so many extras to it. There we go. Yeah, but it does take some getting used to in comparison to Apex, I'll tell you that. I mean, you know, the other way around was quite the switch for me, too. You know, that's why I'm still kind of trying to grasp how things work in Apex in comparison to how they work here.
Allies headed to the other side.
The nice part is you can kind of customize like how you want your controller set up, you know. So I have mine set up so that my melee button is when I press the right stick in. You know, then you basically have a number of different ways you can switch that to how you want it to be.
Thank those moats.
That's the nice part I like.
They're heading back. Hostiles incoming at
Let's
command.
go here. That's 3 there.
Almost time for a
Alright, let's keep
primeval.
moving.
Fill that bank up. 1 minute.
Great,
remaining.
they've already got their primeval up. Wonderful.
Portal's ready. Alright, you can still win this. Burn that primeval to the ground. That primeval
Alright,
compromised.
let's go do it
Give
then.
it for everything you've got. Your allies invading the other side.
Yeah, that primeval will smash the crap out of you in a matter of seconds. See, kind of like that, but that wasn't the one that got me. The big guy with the red tag above his head, that's the primeval there, that guy there.
Find them before they find you.
Great. Yeah, and you see, that's usually what you gotta deal with too, is invaders. They're basically enemy players, more or less, is what they count that as, basically. So, there it is.
Done. Opposing team defeated.
Shit, I missed him. Yeah, we already lost anyway. That's the thing I'm not entirely keen about with the whole primeval thing, is that even if you're losing, if you can still take out the enemy primeval, you basically
Opposing
win either
team's
way.
doing great.
You know.
Your team could
So,
do
yeah.
better.
That's kind of the loophole, I guess you could say, for that.
Get
Yeah.
ready for transmat.
So, like, you know, say if our team ends up starting to do better, then, like, say if we're able to, you know, get our primeval summoned, basically the enemy team's loophole is if they can kill our primeval before, you know, before we can finish up on our end, then that's, you know, that's their loophole of how they can still win. It's odd. I mean, it's definitely weird. There's a lot of things to this that really made literally no sense to me at first, though. Alright. Let's swing this crap. That's usually what you'll see when I'm starting to get ticked like that there. You'll usually hear something like that, and then you see the sword come out, and then a lot of things die really quick.
Hostiles incoming at the burrow.
Okay, okay, good, they got him. Okay, so where are we going? That way. Oh, great. That's a blocker over there. Go. God damn, get out of my way. See what I mean? I rely on that far more heavily than I should.
So you're with the team and you're just battling these goblin things?
Well, more so, they're called the Hive, basically, and there's a couple different races here that basically play a similar role as they do. Like, usually the first ones you'll run into is either the Fallen or the Cabal, and the Taken is another type of a you know, species, more so, I guess, artificially created per se. Like, you know, the original 3 races were basically Cabal, Hive, and Fallen. But then, you know, basically, these guys are basically what the Taken look like. More or less what the Taken are is they're more or less, they were originally either Hive, Cabal, or Vex. Well, Vex is another one. You know, or Fallen even, but basically they're corrupt versions of those different races, you know. Like those ones I was battling there were basically corrupted Vex. You know, Vex are kind of like, I guess you could say, an android kind of thing. And, you know, the Fallen are basically scavenger kind of deal. And the Cabal are more so like a militarized, armored kind of deal. Yeah, So it's interesting though.
Incoming at command.
Yep, that's a hive there. That's basically what we're facing in this one though. They usually throw a single race at you in here for the most part though, other than the Taken. But you know, usually they'll throw one of those other ones, you know, not counting the Taken at you. They usually don't mix them, which is actually kind of nice, you know. But the reason I like this one versus the mode they started with being what they called the Crucible, that was just strict player versus player stuff, the Crucible though. That's why I like this one though too, because you know they incorporated the Crucible stuff, but they also included these AI controlled ones too. You know, and I like it because they kind of mixed it up a little bit there. It's definitely interesting, but you see how a lot of this is happening really quick. I mean, I like this game a lot because, you know, instead of having the time to think or plan of what I want to do, you usually have a split second to decide on how to deal with something going on. Or you have something like that happen too. You know, basically like the mentality I usually have in this game is basically right or wrong, make a decision, you know. You know, because you usually have a split second to decide on how you want to deal with whatever's going on. You usually don't have like a couple seconds or a minute or whatever to plan out what you want to do. You usually gotta, you usually gotta deal with what's going on and just come up with something on the fly, basically, for it. More or less, like that's my heavy there. This one's my primary. I'm gonna try and revive him over there, but this right here is my secondary. Crap, this is gonna get ugly. There we go.
Your invaders back. No
Great.
on either side.
You know, and when they nail you and it turns dark like that, it's very hard to track them. I mean, I can more or less track them, but it's still, either way, it's still a lot harder to see, you know. I mean, that does some pretty heavy damage there, too. I mean, you know, again, I mean, I've worked with my characters a lot. Well, this one the most, obviously, but, you know, that's why it doesn't do quite as heavy a damage. But usually, I mean, in the earlier levels, that darkening attack kind of thing, it's basically a one-shot for most, you know, beginning characters, I guess you could say. I mean, I'm literally kind of, you know, not worrying about dodging that as much because, you know, my character is built a little more so he can kind of take that hit a little bit better. You know, and I really shouldn't be doing that to begin with, number one, but, you know, but that's a habit I'm still trying to get out of, honestly, you know. Alright, time to get back in there. Yeah, that's the nice part though, is that you're able to respawn like that though. And they're still taking it to us pretty heavy though. So, yeah, and those white triangle looking things, those are the called motes that we basically take to that bank area. That's basically how we get to summon our primeval and basically how we send blockers to kind of, you know, slow down the progress of the enemy team is what the purpose of the blockers is. Yep, that's the bank that just came out of the ground there. There we go. Yeah, and that's basically, that's your focal point if you want to be able to summon the primeval. Because if you're not, you know, like say if you get paired up with a team that's just running around shooting shit and they're not really worrying about the modes, then, you know, then you're not really getting anywhere other than getting a fuck ton of kills, which really doesn't mean anything if the other team is shooting straight at their primeval. Usually either way it doesn't mean a whole lot though. Damn. But yeah, you know, it's definitely interesting, but like I said, there's a lot going on in a very short amount of time. But again, that's what I like a lot about it, is it gives you a split second to think, basically, you know, right or wrong, make a decision, go, you know. Those are more so my kind of games, you know, where I don't have time to plan something. I think of something and it seems to make sense in the heat of the moment, you know. You know, and I think this is either going to screw me or it's going to work, you know. That's about it. There's really no middle ground for that here. You know, basically, you know, it's either going to work or it's not. That's about it. Yeah, I've got 5 there. But Yeah, you see over where it says modes on the left side, that's how you can kind of track how many you have there. And right below where it says deposit for a small blocker, basically 5's a small one. 10 is medium blocker. If you go 15, that's your max capacity, but that's for a large blocker. So, yeah, basically, again, they're meant as a barrier to slow down your enemy's progress. Okay, everybody's got their primeval. Let's take it. Let's take it too. Where's it being? Yeah, that blue beam means that he's basically, it's called leeching, another character, and that's the primeval there, they're leeching, which basically more or less makes him immune and can stop them from doing that. More or less like you can just, you can unload on him, but as long as he's being leeched like that, it doesn't mean anything. Like he's immune to basically anything you throw at him at that point. You know what? This is what's called my Sunbreaker. You think you're going, big guy? I think I got him. Yeah, I was more worried about getting that invader. Yeah, I didn't get him either. Great.
You finished.
Yeah, I must have damaged him or something, because I got some kind of bonus there. Yeah, you see how quick this guy will take your health down, though? Yeah, but weirdly enough, though, that blue eye looking thing, that's basically his weak point. Like, that's the equivalent of a headshot on him, basically. That's the weird part, though, Like, with the Cabal, it's the standard idea for a headshot, but, with the Vex, basically there's a glowing part in their chest, kind of like that blue eye looking thing on them. That's basically the equivalent of a headshot for them. Shit, they got our primeval down. Yeah. And they have all sorts of challenges, bounties. It's really, really extensive, I think. I mean, I remember back when I was playing just regular Crucible, where it was player versus player, basically. And, oh my god, it was match point, and there was a 4v4 like it is here. And 10 seconds into match point round, I literally get the message saying, last Guardian standing, which means my entire team got taken out in 10 seconds into the match point round. So, first thing I'm thinking is, okay, running and gunning's a bad idea right now since there's 4 of them and 1 of me, So, I literally just drew my sword and started creeping around corners, And, I was able to get 3 of them and the 4th one got me, I basically got all but 1 of them, but that's because by the time I got the 3rd one down, the 4th one was already shooting at me. So, yeah, he was already on me before I could do much of anything about that. Let's see here. Actually, can you guys see this map here, or is it cutting that off?
Yeah, it's cutting it off. It's all black.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, those creatures we were fighting before are called the Hive, though. Basically, I'm going to take us to Nessus so you guys can kind of see what the Vex more or less look like there. I'm going to try to work in... I think it might have been Messenger. I heard something go off earlier. Actually, this could be an opportunity here. Alrighty. Yeah, actually, I think this could be an idea where I can show you guys the idea of public events. Like, that's what those icons usually mean. This usually indicates, like, a character that you can redeem things and get missions and whatnot. These things are basically, they're strike missions, more or less. And, let's see here, basically, these are, obviously, they're landing zones. So, you've got a couple of different options here, and, like how I marked that public event off to the left there, that'll usually highlight the closest landing zone. But yeah, I don't know, I mean, I really don't get why they renamed Earth what they call the European Dead Zone, or the EDZ for short. I don't get it, but, they called it the Cosmodrome in the first Destiny too, well, in the first Destiny, And I thought, okay, the Cosmodrome made less sense than the EDZ did, Well, probably, yeah. I mean, I do want to kind of at least run through a public event to show you guys how that works. Because they do have a kind of a mechanic in there that can kind of, switch it from a regular public event into what they call a heroic public event. It's interesting, though. Anyway, I'm going to send something real quick here before I get going on that real quick. Let me see, where is it here? Where the heck is it here? Ah, there we go. There we go. Anyway, alright, let's get down there to that event. You know, and here you can either choose to take this, that'll safely bring you down. I prefer the more daring way, which is basically just this here. You know? There's the event, by the way, and that's what I mean is it, see, because I could have gotten fall damage there. You know, or if I hadn't hit my jets at all, that would have killed me on impact when I landed on the ground. But considering this is a little further away, that's where I'm going with this here. I'm going to summon... Shit, no, I don't want to do that. I want to summon my vehicle here, which is basically this here. You know, and like, you know, you can move around just like this too if you choose. I prefer this because it's faster. You know. But the thing though that's the biggest pain in the ass in the beginning campaign with this though is you don't really get the Sparrow until you've completed the main campaign, you know. So, you know, it's a pain to me, you know. So, you know, basically up until you get that, you're basically running around on foot and whatever, you know. It's just horribly annoying to me, you know. Especially when in the first Destiny they gave you a Sparrow, like, probably about 20-30 minutes into the main campaign. Yep, loading there real quick.
To all who can hear me, alert. Incoming
here we
Cabal
go.
construct.
Yep.
85%.
Oh, great, we got Cabal
intelligence
incoming,
related
okay.
objective.
Yeah, let's see where the hell that did. Yep, there's a fallen. That's a fallen dreg. Let's see here, where the heck is that? That's, holy crap, that's a ways off yet. Yep. Let's go. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna worry about them right now. But yeah, you know, normally I do not recommend running across this, because this is like a constantly damaging thing. Kind of like, say, if you're outside the ring in Apex, that's basically serves the same purpose, does the same thing. You know, it'll continuously damage you, but that's kind of the loophole to it, is if you're riding along it like that, then it doesn't damage you.
What a paradox.
Okay. So, let's see here. Oh, yeah, we're in this kind of thing. Great.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, you see, and that's the kind of thing where they activate kind of a suppression field where you want to get outside of that, you know, because it'll constantly damage you otherwise. There we go. Ah, these guys. Okay, yep, with that. Ah, he got me in the face there. See, some of those guys, those are horribly annoying. You know, because they're quick, they're small, they're kind of the equivalent of snipers, I guess you could say. They're just horribly annoying, because, you know, when you start going after them, they'll start that whole hit and run crap, you know. Yeah, kind of like that there. That's when you just chase them down and do that, though. Ah, crap, the suppression field's up. Yeah, that's the nice part, though, is it hurts them, too, inside of there. Because at first I didn't think it did, and I thought, well, that's horribly unfair, was the first thought I thought out of that, you know. Before I realized it was hurting them, too. You know. Now let's switch to this. There we go. Yep, that's what this hand cannon does. If you can kill an enemy with it, they explode in what's called solar energy like that. Shit, I gotta get out of there. See what I mean? Like, they are literally everywhere. What do you think you're doing? Oh, hi. Okay. That was a damn scion. One of those snipers popped me in the air there. They're technically called a scion by their specific character name. They're a pain in the ass. Sniper is basically a simple way to put it, I think. Let's just try that. There we go. One thing I have noticed, if you're rushing enemies like that, though, I had to learn pretty quick the worst idea in the world is to rush them in a straight line like that. which, you know, I would think is kind of common sense anyway. You know, so, yeah. You know, it's just, I guess that's more so common sense, really. That, you know, you're basically a city duck if you're rushing them in a straight line, you know. Doesn't really require a whole lot past that, you know, for them to be able to nail you. And there's the big guy for the heroic event. Great. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Well, fun in a sarcastic term, in my opinion, at this point. And we'll get it done one way or another, though. Base. Yeah. I hope I got that heavy ammo before I went down that purple box that kind of dropped. Because if so, yep, I did get it. Okay, that'll make this a little easier. You see why I rely on this as heavily as I do? Because it's, you know, for the most part, it's usually a one-shot depending on what you're facing against. I hate it when he does that. See, he'll literally drive you back like that every time you stomp the ground like that. Every freaking time he stomps the ground, he drives you back like that. Damn, this guy's being a pain. And I've literally got 10 seconds to wrap this up. Big guy's just about dead, so that's a bonus, I guess. Let's get in there. Come on. Damn it. I think I got him. Yep, I did. I got that last shot in, or like the last second. Yeah, that's why I don't like those guys. I don't really like any of them for the most part, honestly, but hey, you know. Okay, good. Yep, and there's the loot chest for the end of that,
Too
though.
much for them. They're running.
As a consequence of your involvement, the Cabal have acquired no information of value, augmenting my estimate of your capabilities.
Yeah, that's failsafe there. That's failsafe. Interesting, though. The one character on this one I will say horribly, horribly annoying is on a different planet here. Yeah, there's two different pronunciations for it that I know of, but the character's name is Asher Mir. Oh my god, he's so annoying. You know, that's one way to put it. He's literally one of those characters that if he could pop his ass in the head, I would have already done it. Long before now. You know? But yeah, this is basically the planet that, you know, he's on. He's right over there. That's the one. You know? Yeah. I'm gonna jump over there real quick and then we can jump back to Apex, though, if you want. You know, just to kind of, you know, give you an idea of how, agonizingly annoying this guy is, to say the least, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's literally one of those characters that if, like, literally if you could just shoot at anything and it would die, I would have already capped him. Quite a while ago, you know? Yeah, I'm thinking about it after I kind of, you know, introduce Asher and maybe do a public event while we're on the planet. You know, but... like, while I'm going through space, though, I'm gonna kind of, you know, cover the idea of how you upgrade your weapons and whatnot. Well, yeah, I might have to wait. No, never mind, okay. So, like, say my Sunshot, for example. Well, I know I have to upgrade my submachine gun, too, so you'd hit triangle button to be able to go into here. And that's your various stats and various other things, you know. So, like, basically, this is where you'd go to what's called to perform an infusion, basically. And so, basically, obviously, you'd need something higher than what your current attack power is. So, like, say if I'm going with 677, right there at the bottom are the requirements to be able to do it. Like the simulation, see it's there, and the enhancement cores. You know, they have various requirements, basically. You know, and again, it's very, very in-depth, you know. I mean, I like that. It's just it gets very painstakingly annoying, too, more often than not, quite honestly. But, you know, to figure out where the heck Asher is real quick here. I think he's... Oh god, no, I think I'm really far off actually. Where the heck? I might not be as far off as I thought. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not as far off as I thought I was. Okay, event incoming though. Yeah, that's kind of interesting though, but kind of explaining that mini-map up there on the upper left though. Mainly the blue arrow in the middle, obviously that's, you know, that's your character, obviously. But then, like, say if you see those red markings like I had going on there earlier, obviously enemies. Blue dots are basically friendly guardians, friendly players.
Silence waits for no one.
Yeah, you see what I mean already, right? Yeah. Let's see here. What do they have here? Yeah, those are the bounties, basically, right there. You know, I might grab that one. I don't think I'm going to complete it right away, but yeah, we'll figure it out. Right, I'm going to try and hit that public event, and then we'll jump back over. Let's see here. Alrighty. Alrighty, hey, I guess I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow or something.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thanks for the broadcast, dude. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, it's a very in-depth game. It's very interesting. I mean, I like it. It got quite a bit of shit, though, you know, when Activision was still a part of it, though. But, you know, it's doing better. I mean, it's still obviously got its flaws and whatnot, but, you know, it seems like it's a lot less microtransaction focused, you know, since Activision split. You know, well, since Bungie split from Activision. Yeah, because originally their biggest issue was how focused Activision was trying to be on those microtransaction things, you know. Back then, you know, that just seemed like it was driving a lot of the players away from the game, you know, because a lot of them were getting so annoyed with that. Myself being one of them to an extent, honestly, you know. But then again, you know, it was one of those kind of, I guess, I don't want to say pay to win, but you know what I mean? Basically, like the one that could afford to put out the most amount of, you know, money basically got the biggest, baddest setup the quickest, you know. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I've put money in every once in a while in here too, but usually about maybe a couple bucks at a time. I think the lowest package for like what they call silver, which is basically purchasable in-game currency, but you know, I don't put it in very often, but I've bought it before. You know, but you know, they have obviously different tiers of that. Like, I've seen one of those packages literally goes for like 30, 50 bucks. I'm thinking, no. Nah, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'll drop like maybe $5 every once in a while, but it's usually not really for anything particular. Yeah, but yeah, these are the decks, by the way, there. That's what I was talking about with their headshots, because if you're trying to peg them right there, you're damaging them, but you see what I mean? That glowing white spot in their chest, though, that's basically the equivalent of a headshot there. You know, because the yellow numbers indicate you landed critical damage or like a headshot kind of thing. Yeah, basically that's one thing that the effects actually, you know, kind of share is that they all have a center PCA before it's equivalent to a headshot. But yeah, alright, yeah, but I'll see you guys sometime tomorrow and we'll figure something out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright. Yeah, this is definitely...
See you later.
Alrighty. I mean, I'm definitely looking for more clan members if you guys are interested in that. Yeah.
Members.
Oh yeah. I mean, actually, if you want, I can try to. Do you want me to pull up the clan page real quick in the inventory?
Yeah, we'll save that for tomorrow.
Alrighty. Yeah, it's, you see what I mean? It's right over to the left there, like twice there, just to show you the rundown of it. Basic, you know, simple stuff. Like, I'm not gonna obviously go into too big a detail, if none at all, really. But yeah, that's basically, that's the general idea, and then, you know, that one's mine, and then the other two members, you know. We've only got 3 people in it so far, but, you know, we're working on it.
Gotcha.
Alrighty. But, yeah.
We'll give it some thought, man, but I'm actually about to hit the hay, cause I just hit a wall here for a second.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, that would explain whatever it was that smacked me in the head a second ago too, you know. I mean, you know, I literally just sat down, but before sitting down, I felt something smack me in the face. I'm like, what? You know, and it didn't really smack me in the face. It's kind of like I guess I tried to smack it or something. It kind of smacked me back or something. I don't know. It was the door frame is what I ran into, though, just to simplify that. So I'm thinking, yep, I might be getting a little tired here, too.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
all of us need to get some sleep.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely, yeah.
We'll
Alrighty.
see you tomorrow, dude.
Alrighty. Alright, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later, though. See ya.
See you.
Yeah, bye.